What's the wildest secret you accidentally found out about someone? My mate was independently wealthy from stocks bonds, owned his house and car, very expensive hobbies and holidays, and I asked why he still went to work if it frustrated him so much. He used his almost five-figure pay solely for gambling. That way he didn't care if he lost and topped up his real income when he won. Apparently I had a grandaunt who, at 16 or 17, went through a bad breakup. They found her catatonic parked on the side of the road, and when she started talking again I guess she'd totally lost it. They put her in a mental institution and she stayed there her whole life, although apparently my grandma and her other sister would take her out for a private Christmas or a Thanksgiving here and there. She didn't die until I was 15, but I didn't learn of her until I was 25. My whole family basically just erased her existence. I think it's awful. After my grandfather died I found out he had an illegitimate child, let's call the child B, with my grandmother's older sister. He was 22, she was 18 when she got pregnant. My grandmother was 16 and was dating him. My grandparents ended up marrying and had 2 children, my dad and my uncle. My grandmother's sister had the child, a son, B, and married a man that raised B as his own. My dad and his brother never knew about their half-brother. The only reason anyone found out was because B eventually drowned in a boating accident, and when they were identifying his body they discovered that he wasn't related to the man he thought was his father. After my grandfather died, I was contacted by B's children, and while there's no one alive still to ask about what went down, evidence points to my grandfather being B's father, and my grandmother, her sister, and my grandfather hiding the truth all their lives. My best friend from childhood visited me. She is in her mid-30s, single, while living alone in another country on a very good job. She tells me she doesn't want to date whenever I forward her profiles of potential dates. So we are having lunch, and she had gone to the loo. Her phone rang and there was the picture of the married guy in her old office back in our home country. When she was back I asked her bluntly why he's calling her, as she had told me about 10 years back that he, a colleague with a wife and 2 children, was flirting with her. I told her to stop giving him attention, and I thought it was a done chapter. So in present, after hesitation she told me that they are in a secretive relationship. She helped him to emigrate to the same country as hers, and they lived together for a few years till his family emigrated to the same country. Now, they are having some arrangements of him visiting her on the pretext of work. His wife and children don't know anything. It was shocking to me that she is capable of such a deep deception. She kept all these from her family and friends, easily so because she moved abroad, which looks like was for hiding the relationship. Maybe not wildest, but definitely funniest. In my teenage years I was teaching swimming lessons. A cute little 4-year-old girl telling me, guess what, Mr. Fun Club? Of course I asked what, and loud enough to be heard by everyone in the pool and the parents watching from the stand she excitedly proclaims, my mommy got a tummy tuck. This girl at my church, super innocent and quiet, made a fake FB account as her classmate and was messaging people trying to get them to have sex with her on the 2nd floor of the church overlooking the stage during the music part of the service with the curtain closed. I know because I'm one of the people she messaged, and later on she logged into her fake account on my phone but forgot to log out. Found out my friend's family were nudists too when we saw each other at a resort 1,000 miles from home once. The fact that a friend who is free every day works 3 jobs. I was just about to start high school and my mother was taking us back to the state she grew up in for us to meet the daughter she had 20 years ago. My mom called me while I was in Mexico vacationing with my family to tell me I had another sister she didn't tell me about. I already had one that she gave up for adoption when she was 15 and knew about her. She found my mom when she was 18, but apparently she had another baby girl later and gave up for adoption as well. She finally told us because of Ancestry DNA site. The other adopted sister reached out to her. Not completely life-changing or anything, but my parents seemed to have their shit pretty together, and to find out you have extra siblings that they had no plans on telling you about was weird. My great-grandmother was married to 3 different people at the same time. The men were from different branches of the military. She was collecting all 3 of their paychecks at a time. That cousin is not only an incest baby, but her dad was her grandfather and she's the 2nd incest baby. The first was secretly adopted out. My half-sister went out with guy, had a baby with him. I found out it was because he looked like my brother. A girl I went to school with turned out to be a saint's miracle. When she was a baby she OD'd on some medicine and was supposed to die. Her parents were devout Catholics, so they prayed to someone who needed one more miracle to become a saint. In Catholicism you can ask saints to intervene for you with God. She survived and the Catholic Church did a big investigation, considered a miracle, so the saint got canonized. To make the story even greater, she was dating the most goth girl in the school. Not religious myself, but always thought the story was cool. A friend's wife had sex with another friend, then his wife, and then the two of them together. Got found out when he stumbled upon pictures in the deleted folder of her iPhone. Since then, they've had a baby and are still together. Now I know why they went off the grid for over a year. I always knew Buddy Rake would cheat on his girlfriends whenever he got the chance. But it wasn't until after we moved in together that I realized how often it happened. His girlfriend would come over and spend a few hours there and then leave, and within minutes of her leaving a new girl would show up for a few hours and leave, and then another would show up and spend the night. This would happen almost daily. He's married now with a kid, but I still bet he is doing the same thing. GF now ex, and I had a fight because I had a hunch she's been cheating on me again. She denied. I asked her to leave my house in the morning. She went up the attic to collect her stuff, had the chance to go through her phone. Found out she's been cheating, sexting, sending nudes, catfishing with 6 more ladies. I'm never the same after. My old cricket club's groundsman, in his 50s or 60s, drove home drunk a lot. One night he was awoken in the car upside down and being cut from the vehicle by the fire brigade. Now our local fire brigade are volunteers who have normal jobs too. Turns out the boot opened and was filled with gay porn mags. That rumor went round fast. After this happened, a mate who I played with said he once got drunk with said groundsman, and the groundsman wanked him off in the showers. Truly odd. My wife's best friend could not get pregnant through IVF after trying several times. LSS, so she and her sister talked her brother-in-law into a night of drinks and other things eventually led to pregnancy. The husband thought the last attempt of IVF worked and he thinks it's his kid. My friend unknowingly hooked up with her half-brother. Once they found out, he continued to pursue her despite being married with children.